I got put in handcuffs tonight, and I got put in the back of a police car tonight. This shit's really crazy. Um, my car. Pardon me. Yeah, the car. It smelled like marijuana and everything like that. But it's like at this point, there's no logical reason of even going into depth of like getting the metaphysics, because we all know at the end of the day, marijuana even being illegal in the first place is fucking retarded in the first place. We don't even have to go into fucking depths and reasons why. We already know just from a collective conscious perspective why marijuana being illegal in the first place is fucking retarded in the first place. It's the same thing with alcohol back in the 1930s, which I would rather definitely marijuana be legal than fucking alcohol if you want to do some sort of compensation and everything. But at the end of the day, every substance you take is going to have some sort of effect. You just got to know how to really treat the energy of what that drug represents or substance represents. But this ain't even about that. This is the reason I said, and another thing too is when he was searching the car, basically he said it was what was it, clear quartz crystal? Yeah, clear quartz crystal. And he thought it was, I guess he was assuming it was crystal meth. He I don't know, I don't really have interactions like this with the police, and I feel immense amount of empathy and sympathy. That's why I help more melanated people, darker people, and associate myself, because I understand, and I do not get lost in race. I don't hate white people or anything like that. It's nothing like that. This isn't even about that, basically. But on a earthly basis, I understand and I feel, because I actually believe in a past life due to my research, and especially when dealing with the nodes. I honestly feel like I was Abraham Lincoln in a past life, if we're going to talk about it on a spiritual perspective. Regardless if that sounds crazy to somebody, I know some people who, watch my channel are not exactly like into all of the super metaphysics. People who do come across my channel are not into all of the metaphysical back-ends or anything like that. Because not everybody, even I support on YouTube, is into astrology or metaphysics or anything like that. A lot of people are just, they teach on different things, on different forms of consciousness and everything. It's always good to have a broad perspective, but not to get lost in each perspective, because that's the tricky thing about being consciously aware of shit. Because, like Uriel said, you'll be consciously aware of. When you're consciously aware of everything, you're in a situation where it's hardly any kind of discernment. Well, there is discernment, but you just got to come up with the discernment because you're consciously aware of so many things. But if you're consciously aware of everything, that would drive someone insane. It's like there's so many different avenues you could go through as far as a mental construct. But yeah, when you come to being handcuffed, and even being Caucasian and everything, being in this system that was set up years ago, this American system. It's built on many different layers, like Uriel said. It's the cancer vibration. Not only is it the cancer vibration, but the cancer vibration is home life. When you look around America, you do see the archetype of having a family, having some sort of structure. We're dealing with the opposite, which is Capricorn, Cancer and Capricorn. That's like the equal opposite ends of what the United States of America was founded on. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's positive. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if people say history, because you have history, then you have mystery, which is my story. But if we're talking about a collective energy of what had happened, heavenly melanated people built this country. You see what I'm saying? So just that energy alone, just picking up on that, it wasn't so much of a situation, I get pulled over, because I was uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? I got pulled over and I was fucking uncomfortable. And, I can only imagine what black people, heavily melanated people, even go through on a daily basis. And it's getting to a point to where no matter what ethnicity or what cultural background, what shade you are, because the police, but when we're talking about, again, on a collective level of what everyone has absorbed as a collective thought, you know what I'm saying? Law enforcement's being used by galactic federations of light energy you know, using that energy to target other energies that are, you know, being used in human vessels. You see what I'm saying? It's like a as above so below correlation going on. I'm really just kind of just, you know, channeling this video as I'm really saying it, because, you know, this just being in this situation, in a situation like this, is just really like, it's really insane. Because like I was just even speaking on, I can, as being a Caucasian, I can put myself in the perspective of a heavily melanated person, and just even imagine, because that's something that's like passed down. I don't even want, that's not even the correct way of even saying it, but just, you know, programmed as far as police brutality and everything like that. And I mean, that system in and of alone has a lot of deep backing behind it, because that's like more so like 7th house energy, but it's like it's being played out to where the negative aspect, injustice, because the positive aspect of the 7th house is justice, and the negative aspect is, of course, injustice. So when there's no injustice, you know, there's obviously no balance, and there's obviously chaos. Without any order, there's fucking chaos and shit like that. And you see it every day. You see fucking people getting shot up, black people getting shot by the police and everything like that. And yes, everybody, and I mean, you know, everybody's getting shot by the motherfucking police. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even trying to, you know, bash on the police even, like, on that level, because everyone's just playing a role at the end of the day. You have to really just, you know, kind of like go with the flow of the system at the end of the day. And that's, I know that sounds crazy, because it's like, there needs to be a balance, but we need to balance every aspect of life. We can't just focus on just justice. You have to focus on justice, and then the routine of justice, and then you have to connect all of these together when we're talking about house systems and everything like that. And this video isn't even about house systems. Really, I didn't even get to my point yet. Really, let me get a fucking drink real quick. This video is really just talking about the metaphysics of being put in handcuffs. Because thankfully tonight, thanks to God and the universe, I didn't get to the part to where I get taken to jail and get behind bars. I'm very thankful and grateful that I didn't have to go through that experience. But just being violated in general is it's a very deep backing, especially with my energy, because I'm very sensitive. I'm a Pisces rising, Cancer moon, and an Aquarius sun. First of all, it should be a fucking crime to the universe to put some sort of energy, some sort of lock. I mean, you got to think, for an Aquarius, Aquarians don't want to be. This is really more so the metaphysics of being locked up, depending on what energies you possess. Now that I'm really forming this video in my head, even on a house level, it's really deep. But Aquarians do not deal with caginess, being put into a box. That's why Aquarians are out of the box. Caginess, restriction, tightness, closed space. No, Aquarians like openness. We like far out things. That's why the 11th house is the Aquarian house, and that's why that's the association house. That's being taken, everything abroad. You know what I'm saying? Really, the 11th house and the 9th house work together, because the 9th house is broad philosophical points of views. The 9th house is long-term journeys. The 9th house is different countries. If you really think about it, the 9th house is really, when we're talking about on a down-to-earth level, the 9th house is studying, the aspect of studying different cultures. And see, this is where my energy plays in, and that's why I am who I am, and I'm proud of the energies I have. You know what I'm saying? You know, when I was talking about, you know, the justice of that, yes, I understand we don't need to get lost in shades on any aspect, but when we're talking about it, just what it is, it comes from studying different cultures and respecting different cultures and understanding the injustice with that sextile of the 9th house and the 7th house. That creates an opportunity for me to use that energy of what a 9th house sextile and the 7th house in general represents, and bring that into an energy into fruition, having justice for other different cultures. having justice for different sorts of backgrounds, different ways of life and everything like that. This plays into the 11th house as well. The 11th house plays more so into itself as far as communicating actually with the people one-on-one, because you could add that with the 7th house as far as, the justice level and everything like that. Not even just one-on-one. Really, the 11th house could be like going to a neighborhood. Like, so let's say you were born into the suburbs and everything. Like, I don't want to say that this is the suburbs necessarily. This is kind of like the middle ground. It's like, it's not the suburbs, but it is the suburbs. It's kind of weird to describe it. There is mostly white people in this neighborhood, though, just to be honest with you. But anyway, so the 11th house would kind of sort of be like you go into the hood, basically, or just in an area you're not familiar with. It could even be a super bougie area, you know what I'm saying, because it's just the 11th house, like Uriel said. And the reason I always say, like Uriel says, because we all know, a lot of us are really making these videos. They spark from his influence, basically. And I always show my respect to Uriel. And I always show that respect, and I always show my humbleness of where I'm actually getting this information of, because I'm not making I can't just pull everything out of the cloud. I had to learn these things by experience. And that actually goes into what I was even talking about of why I possess this energy by nature of just, having empathy for different cultures in general. And that's the 9th house and the 7th house. And first of all, my Jupiter is in the 9th house, so it's already in a place it loves to be. It's already home. It's already, has all the abilities left to what it has. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever the fuck it wants. Cook. It can wash the dishes if it wants to. Or it could just leave it there, but the energy is still good and it's an easy access. It's not like you can't do it, basically. You have the ability to do it because you're home. See what I'm saying? Unless you just but sleeping, that's the fallen state. But that's another different story. Let me take another sip. So, I have Jupiter in the 9th house, and I have Pluto in the 9th house. So already, me having Jupiter and Pluto in the 9th house, I learn a lot. As far as from different cultures and everything. And it always puts me in a situation to where it's a deep resurrection in my spirit. Like hip-hop. When it comes to my musical, really, the first musical artist I started with was Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was really the first musical artist that I really, took the interest to really studying his craft. And it's crazy as this sounds, when I first started really getting into music, it wasn't even first really playing the music I wanted to get into. I actually wanted to dance at first. I was really inspired by Michael. I don't know if I could get to that level. I know they say white people can't dance, but I feel like at the end of the day, yeah, you can say that's genetic, and a lot of that is true as far as like vibrational genetics of your bloodline. But that's also due to a collective conscious way of thinking about. See, I don't want to get into like race shit and like collective conscious thinking right now, because that's not what this video is about. But anyway, it's just the fact that I started on like Michael Jackson, and I went to classic rock and shit like that. I didn't really get into hard rock music like Three Doors Down, 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin. Wasn't really into Linkin Park. I don't know, like I didn't really take a liking to that stuff. Even rap music, like the really like grimy, like dirty trap shit, like I don't know, that shit just didn't. I was young too, and I was very ignorant, and I wasn't really understanding life really to the fullest and how the vibrations really work with life due to the environment I was in, due to the people that I was around. Shit was very dumbed down. But at the same time, I still was able to rise from that and, get to where I am, with hip-hop and producing music and shit like that. That's kind of where the phoenix rising from, learning about these different cultures. It's a conjunction energy, so it's like a power. It's an easy access power that I have as far as, learning from different cultures and really going apart. But the thing is, you have to appreciate, you can't just be a culture vulture. And, you can't just fly around in different cultures, take peace out, and then create a situation that you say is your own original work, and you didn't have no inspirational backing behind the situation. No, that is not the case at all. Well, that is, well, I mean, no, that's not the case with someone who isn't a culture vulture. A culture vulture is basically someone who just, basically eats from the culture and, benefits them. We all know why they even came up with these terms in the first place, just due to the energy behind of what it even represents for eating from the culture. It's really late. I'm kind of scramble minded right now because of this whole being pulled over situation, and I don't even think I even got to that point. I went into a whole video about all that. I need to get videos organized. I think that's my thing. Yurio, when he went live, he was talking about the Vesta, and Vesta is how you organize your life, he said. And I have Vesta in Gemini, 25 degrees Gemini. And, with Vesta being an air, in this case, mutable air, it's like things have to be organized in a mutable way of being able to, rationalize in your head, have rapid thinking in your head, also being able to verbally speak to people, being able to communicate. Really, if you think about it, since Gemini and Sagittarius are the same, so me even coming with that concept of, learning from different cultures, which I think most people really knew that, but it's not really, it's almost like it's not, they just say broad travels, but really it's like broad learning. It's like learning from different cultures and like the way different societies, study different things. That's like philosophy, like, studying like ancient Kemetic well, yeah, you could say astrology, but philosophy, Greek philosophy, Roman philosophy, African philosophy, South American philosophy, Canadian. I mean, there's philosophy everywhere. You don't have to get stuck to what they teach in the school and everything. Damn, this video is 17 minutes. I don't even think I got to the point that I even want to get to. But yeah, man, being handcuffed. Okay, so basically this stemmed back from talking about Aquarius. So basically, yeah, and basically, no, what I was saying was, basically, depending on your energy, you handle. Okay, so this is the basic back end of from what I understand and from my spirit, how being handcuffed correlates spiritually. Being handcuffed means you're just basically you can't move in the spiritual realm. Like Uriel says, when you're getting pulled over, it's like you're being guilty of something in the Galactic Federation of Light. Which is weird because I wasn't in a state of being guilty, but I'll tell you what, I did have a feeling like I wanted to go one direction, but I went another direction. I wasn't thinking about it because the reason I got pulled over is because my mother, when I'm using her car, because my car's broken, and I thank my mother for letting me have that opportunity to do that. One of the tail lights is out when I wasn't aware of that, so that was the whole reason I got pulled over in the first place. And then, that led to the extra. They were even asked where I was going, what exact street, who was the person, what their name was, what they do, like unnecessary questions, basically just harassing me. Probably even profiling to a certain degree, not to the extent that they do melanated people. That shit is fucking horrible. But like certain, like, long hair. I have a Deadpool shirt on. Probably look like a pothead, stereotypically and everything like that. So, all those factors play into the whole situation of just, escalating and everything. But, it could, you don't even have to be guilty in that moment necessarily. You know what I mean? It could play out into a situation to where you just feel like you're stuck mentally, I guess. It's not even guilt, like you're stuck mentally. But I'll tell you what, man. When Uriel said, when you're in a new situation and that's when you're at your true God state of being. Man, I didn't realize how much my heart was racing until they put me into the back of that police car. And it's really surreal. And I didn't even realize that the back of a police car is like plastic. I don't know if it's different. I don't know, it's plastic. I didn't even really realize that there'd be like leather and shit like that. Or no leather is what I meant to say, but I had to really close my eyes and not get washed up by that situation because, like I said, me being a Pisces rising, a Cancer moon, and an Aquarius sun, that's a very touchy and sensitive situation for an energetic combination like that in general. And my moon, not my moon, but my sun and my Mercury is in the 12th house. That shit wants to daydream. And I did daydream. I daydreamed about being in a fucking positive state of being while in the back of that police truck. Now, anything could have happened. If I was in a super negative state of being, like I'm talking about like there's no hope at all, yeah, it would have been a situation. I mean, regardless if it was a right or just an out of the blue situation, out of the blue decision as far as what was on their heart and on their mind, we're all going through the process, searching the fucking car and everything like that and asking unnecessary questions. Who knows how the situation could have arisen, but I chose to be calm. I chose to be perfect. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I got kind of angry with them. But, you know, at the end of the day, I was cordial because you don't want to escalate the situation. So this video wasn't really necessarily the metaphysics behind being locked up, but just when you're in a situation like that, don't ever give up. Even if you are heavily melanated, and that's easy. That's easy for me to say because I'm not melanated. I'm Caucasian. So the way the system's set up, unfortunately, it's like, even though it is an illusion, people give that thought so much collective energy to the point where it manifests itself to be real. That only white people can be the most superior people. Now, there's a lot of more younger people, but see, the thing is, this is such a deeply ingrained collective conscious thought form to where it's like thickens through the bloodline, basically. And again, I'm not making this about color, because you see, I am white. You know what I'm saying? So for me to even talk like this, you know what I'm saying? People have to be very brave and very bold to really even speak on shit like this. But you know what I mean? But I mean, people do it all the time, but as far as being, you know, ridiculed by other people who look like me, I don't give a fuck what you think. I really don't. Because I'm going to do what my energy tells me to do. And my energy tells me to be that way. You know what I mean? Because that's just who I am. I'm not going to change. Everybody is a unique, different snowflake that has their own chemical, not chemical, but molecular composition. Just like everyone's natal alignment, energetic planetary alignments are different. Everybody's birthday is different. Everybody was born in a different location of the earth and everything, where there's different, you know, flowers and different foods and different, you know, different species. You know what I'm saying? Every area is different because every energy is different. So, really, like I said, this video was really just to kind of just let some steam off from this whole situation, because this is just, like I said, nobody wants to be put in a situation like this where you feel like you're like you can't get out of a situation. Because I'm not gonna lie, there were some parts in my head where I really thought they were gonna take me to fucking jail for whatever fucking reason. But I had to stay in a positive state of being. But like I said, if you stay in a positive state of being, no matter who you are, I promise you, Uriel said to Prime, that's Archangel Uriel. I trust him. That's why I love that motherfucker. I trust him. I trust any pure source from God, the overall God, that for any kind of direction and peace. That's why salute to not only Archangel Uriel, I want to make a salute to Free as Free Flow, Archangel Gabriel, Sun Sign, Formahalt. I want to give a shout out to Demetria Douglas, Honey Heru, Archangel Raphael. And I want to give a shout out, and there's many people who take Archangel Michael's vessel, but I want to give a shout out particularly to the Peace Dealer. You are a very intelligent brother. I'm very fortunate. There's people in my life. There was a girl that I was about to date, but it didn't really go off the way I wanted to. It is what it is. But her moon sign actually conjuncted Formahalt. So she, like Uriel, she was Archangel Gabriel straight up in the flesh. Her moon sign was Formahalt. And I think that's beautiful. And there's a lot of people I've had a lot of friends whose sun sign conjunct Regulus, Archangel Raphael. I had a friend who was like, he was a star football player, and his sun sign was Regulus. And I'm an Aquarius, so that's like Leo energy. So his energy kind of just naturally gravitated towards me. So I feel, and a lot of people feel the same. When you're spiritually inclined like this, when you just have these thoughts, and when you just have this energy on you, you attract angels, high energetic beings, vessels taken, human vessels. And as far as Uriel, now as far as Michael, I don't really know any particular people at the top of my head who channel that energy. And Dolo is the only person I know really who really channeled Archangel Uriel like that. I do have my closest friend in my local area. My closest friend is Venus, Venus in Antares. So the way she loves and she appreciates is kind of similar to how Uriel is, the way he really is and everything. So that's why there's a strong connection. And she's a Scorpio and he's an Aries. So I have them you see I'm wearing red right now, and I have a Mars retrograde in Leo. So this really plays out as a situation to where he's an Aries, she's a Scorpio. So I have a beautiful ability to be able to experience personally in my life the feminine and the masculine side of Mars, and have a beautiful, healthy blend of both of them with Uriel through YouTube and with my best friend in real life. Even though, talking to Uriel, that is real life, but I'm talking, you know what I mean by saying real life. My friend's a Scorpio, and she has a moon in Cancer too, just like me. So we already have a strong connection just by that energy alone. First time we met, there was already a good spark. But this video, I'm just looking at this shit, and I'm just realizing this video went so deep. I didn't even mean to keep y'all up with this shit, but I just had to let this energy off my chest. I feel really good talking about this. I have the money pretty much up to get my transmission for my car, get that shit situated. Don't have to worry about situations like this again. I just need to be careful. I need to trust myself more when it comes to certain directions, because I told myself I wanted to go one direction and I didn't. So that I can understand, and going back into my state of being of where I was at that particular time, that's what I have to do. So now I have to pay the price and I have to pay a ticket. It is what it is. It ain't nothing that I can't handle. So I'm gonna close this video. I was about to say conclosed. That's not a fucking word. It is now. And I'm gonna catch y'all later. Shout out to the whole Soul family. Shout out to Langston 2092. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man. Shout out to Ariel XY. I'm Possible. Deanna Oten. Lissy Darko. Everybody from the Soul family. Just K. Motherfucking Starscream, Alien Indigo, Sean Naraz. There's so many people that I'm not thinking about. Sammy D. There's so many people. I love all of y'all. And I need the positive energy. I feel like I deserve it. I put myself, now I know that sounds egotistical to say that I deserve it, but we all deserve it. So we all need to do it for ourselves. So I'm going to catch y'all later.